This is the November 10th, 2022 meeting, and this meeting is called pursuant to the provisions of the Open Public Meetings Law. This meeting of November 10th, 2022, with instructions for internet access, was included in the meeting notice sent to the Burlington County Times and Courier Post on January 6th, 2022, and advertised in said newspapers on January 9th, 2022, and January 12th, 2022, respectfully posted on the website and the bulletin board in the municipal building on January 6th, 2022, and has remained continuously posted as required under the statute. In addition, a copy of this notice is and has been available to the public and is on file in the office of the municipal clerk. So the first order would be the flag salute. Everybody please stand. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we need a roll call.
Mayor McLaughlin.
Here.
Mr. Klaus.
Here.
Mr. Levinson.
Here.
Mrs. Gilmore.
Here.
Mr. Montgomery.
So, before we get into the reports, I see our fire official is here. Do you have anything you'd like to say to us?
Yeah, the only thing I have to...
George, come on up.
Okay.
Thank you. Well, it doesn't record sometimes.
Yeah, New Jersey American Water Company they're about 70% complete on the hydrants in Hainesport Chase from upgrading the fire threads that we had the issue with earlier this year. So they should be done by next month. And then Hainesport Chase will be updated with what they call NST thread, national standard. So that's what we got out of them.
I got to tell you, I can't believe the job it looked like. They had to take the whole fire hydrant out,
Yeah.
dig up the street.
Yeah, they're basically replaced. The collar, that's a big job. So
Yeah.
there was 21 hydrants out in that development.
21?
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank you for whatever you had to do with
So-
that. That's really,
Yeah, they normally don't do that, so I think there was some other pressure on them at some other level, but hey, we'll take it.
well,
So George,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Bruce.
go ahead.
I was wondering, did they replace every hydrant? in
Uh,
Hainesport Chase?
They didn't replace the entire hydrant, but they replaced the 5-inch collar,
Okay.
which is the big steamer connection. There's 3 connections on a hydrant. The big one is what they call the steamer,
Mhm.
and that involves rebuilding most of the hydrants. So even though the outside of the body may be the same, most of the innards are probably all rebuilt. 'Cause
So-
when they do that, they have to replace a lot of the parts, so.
And they've done that to every fire hydrant in Hainesport Chase?
There's going to be 21. I believe they've done 18 so far, so by next meeting, that it should all be done.
Okay. Because I have one neighbor who was saying that they didn't do his hydrant yet, so I just wanted to make sure.
There's a couple stragglers. I don't have a list. When they're done all 21, they're going to fax it to me, which was done and when they were done.
All right, perfect.
But they did say they're mostly complete out there, so.
Thanks, George.
Okay.
Thanks, appreciate it.
So we have the New Jersey State Police Officer. Would you like to add anything, officer? Okay, well, thank you for being here. So with that, we will ask for a motion to receive and file the tax collector, code enforcement, fire official, construction, and we got to approve the minutes first. Sorry, Jerry. Thank you, Jerry. Approval of the regular committee meeting minutes of October 11th, 2022.
So moved?
Second?
Mr. Klaus.
Yes.
Mr. Levinson.
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore.
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin.
Yes. The reports, see, you can move that around when you're mayor. If you want to say that first, you can do that, but I appreciate you telling me, thank you, because I might have forgot it. But anyway, the report section, tax collector, code enforcement, fire official, construction, emergency service reports, and the New Jersey State Police in-person report, but the officer said all's great in Hainesport, so we don't need to worry about that. Can we have a motion?
So moved?
Second.
Mr. Levinson.
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore.
Yes.
Mr. Klaus.
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin.
Yes. So, Rich Litton's here. Would you like to come up, Rich? I see there's an emergency squad update for discussion.
Hi, I'm president of the squad again for the rest of the year. I was for many years, and the last couple of years I was not. We had some people quit. Just to give you an update, our squad's always been volunteers since '56. We were very effective up until a couple of years ago. One by one, we lost members who were really dedicated, and we're having a hard time replacing them. We lost a couple more when COVID hit, not from illness, but just, saying that's enough for me, as did other organizations. Myself, I retired from my job. I used to be around here a lot in the daytime, so now I'm not around here anymore. So we've had some issues, and our manpower's gotten really bad. That's the bad news. The good news is we're having a class right now in our station. There are, I believe, 7 or 8 township residents taking it. We've also recruited people from other towns, which if they're around in the station, it's great. If they're not, we're trying to work that out. So that's where we are at the manpower. It's kind of give or take right now. We'll see if this class goes well and the people are active, I have hope for those two things. The main thing would be, though, that we have enough people in town here that will come out and ride with them and break them in. That's my personal concern, that the people who have slacked off in the last year or two that are EMTs that live in town, can they just take a little time and break in the new people, and we should be okay. We're getting dispatched to about 60 calls a month. They're all in town. Maybe 8, 9, 10 of them, as I was just talking to Trooper about, are homeless people, so that, sometimes our numbers look worse, but it's not like you're waiting for an ambulance at your house. It's somebody up in the cemetery that's too drunk to stand up every day that's calling the ambulance. But that's hit or miss, and that's been calmer lately. We're making about half-hour calls. I don't think that's good, but I called the other 2 volunteer squads in the county. Pemberton Township has a contractor that handles their squad calls. The fire department does backup. They told me they're only up 1 or 2 nights a week. So they do calls, the rest of the time they're not even available. I called Greenbank Volunteer Ambulance, which is almost an hour away from here, down in the deep Pinelands. They only have 100 calls a year, where we have 60 a month. They only have 4 EMTs and 2 drivers. They're somehow making 85% of their calls. So their percentage is high, but I think partially because their call volume is very low and some of their members are retired. Camden County, there's only 1 squad like us, West Collinswood Heights. They're doing okay. There's none in Gloucester County. So if all else fails, we've outlasted everybody else. I mean, that's the good news. And I'm hoping this class works out well. I don't know what else to tell you about that. We appreciate your support in the past. We hope for it going forward. We did order a chassis to replace the front half of the ambulance, if you will, the motor and the rolling part, and then the box will lift up and save it. The box is already 22 years old. That's probably one of the oldest ones around that you'll find. We had to do that because there's only like a 2-day window to order it. Because they're under such demand, if the squad fails or we don't have enough money or you don't want to help us, whatever, it's not binding. We'll just sell it to somebody else. There's more people that want those chassis. That's what I mean. There's only 2 days you can even order them a year. It's bizarre. But that's where we are. I wanted to let you know. I mean, I'm only going to be president at the end of the year. I may run for vice president if one of the new people want me to. I've been doing emergency squad administration for like 40 years between here and Morristown, where I live. So, whatever I can do. But I want to know if anyone had any questions. I know we're not performing as well as we should, but our ambulance is on the street 30 times a month. There's nobody else in these counties around here that you can say that with volunteers. So we're actually outperforming the other squads that are equivalent to us, be it few. But anyway, I just want to know if anyone had any questions about it.
Yeah, I do. So maybe for Paula, and is that consultant firm involved with you folks too, Rich?
Yes.
Okay. Have they finished their due diligence?
No, we're still conducting
Okay.
So
the
Rich,
evaluation.
I just spoke with him yesterday for the first time, the man who's Mr. Huber. So we're going to speak again. I gave him some background and where I thought, we could do better and all that. And he's still taking in from other people.
Rich, I have a question. How many people do you need on the squad, do you think, to make it efficient and effective? And how many people are there currently in the squad?
We look good on paper, but most of the people, either they don't show up or they don't live in town. We probably have like 20 EMTs now. When I joined, I joined this squad, 39 years ago, we probably only had 15 people, but all 15 of them showed up all the time. So we were rocking. Now, you can say we have 15 EMTs, but the availability of them is just not there. They're either not showing up, or they live in Edgewater Park, or they live in Sewell, or wherever. So when they're actually in the firehouse, they'll go on a call. Is that great? No. But that's why I'm excited about the class, because there's a lady lives right across the street from here. There's one over off of Main Avenue, one down off of Broad Street. So there's people that live, I think we're better off if we go back to the old days and just respond from home and make the calls. Because our call volume is only 2 calls a day, for people to hang there, I mean, it's good if they want to, but, and that's the thing Mr. Huber asked me. I'm going to try, when I was president before, we knew who was a member and who wasn't. Now, we had this whole influx of people joined the end of last year, and, I don't know we're going to try to sort that out, kind of tell them, if you want to be on this organization, you're going to have to come up here and hang out. You're going to have to take calls, or, why are you here in the first place?
So really, it's more effective if they're actually in the facility rather than at home, because at home they have other things that they might be occupied with, and when a call comes in, they may not want to go on the call. Is that the issue?
It's becoming more of a thing in modern times. In the old days, we always dropped what we were doing. It didn't care what we were doing. If there was a call, you just stopped. No matter what. I used to go to work 2 hours early. I would run out of work all the time. And it used to be a lot of county employees would run calls. I was probably the last one, and I retired 2 years ago. So I don't think there's any county employees run. But it used to be township employees, county employees, state employees, whoever's in the area would run calls in these towns. Now, unfortunately, we've
Rich,
drifted from that.
please cooperate with the consultant, so the township can get a good idea of what you guys need to help you. I don't know what it's going to say, but...
Yeah, well, absolutely. I reached out to them because I have nothing to hide.
And talk to them, yeah.
I'll tell them everything that I think is good, bad, or indifferent.
Yeah.
If anyone has questions for me, just ask Paula or Tara. They know how to get hold of me. And I'll be candid. I said it could be better, it could be worse.
Well, it's just an exercise to help. We don't know what the outcome's going to be, but we trust those folks, know that business, and they'll give some sort of report. I'm sure you'll be involved, and with whatever the report has to say. So we appreciate everything that you do.
All good for mine. Anybody else have any questions? Or, again, if something pops up, just ask Paula. She'll call me. And
Yeah, well, thank you.
Rich.
Thanks. Thank you.
If I can just add, I just want to say thank you to Rich for your reports each month.
yeah, I'm the handwritten scroll.
Even though they're handwritten, it's still a report, and it's a real report, and I truly appreciate your transparency and your honesty with the struggles and the triumphs of the squad. I just want to say I appreciate your constant communication and, like I said, being transparent with us. and
Yeah, thanks.
everything, so.
The thing that people could do is people could take those reports. I could say we had 30 calls last month, but really we had 60. We answered 30. So I mean, that's to do it any other thing. It's just not right. It's going to come back and get you. Why hide from it? But again, any questions? Let me know. I'm going to move on. If nobody.
Okay,
Anything else?
well,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
so the next item for discussion is the 2022 Best Practices Inventory.
Yeah, so we have to put this on the record that we have reviewed this publicly, and every year, this is an exercise that every municipality has to go through with the state of New Jersey in order to receive our state aid, and I'll just start by saying that none of our aid is going to be withheld again this year, so we scored very well. Some of the questions, some of the areas that they question, again, are core competencies, some financial questions, questions about COVID, general best practices, taxation, how we're managing employee matters. There's quite a few questions that are actually unscored, so it's not part of the scoring system that determines if we will or will not get the state aid. But nonetheless, it's here, it's available. You guys all have it, but we scored 32 points, and we had to score a minimum of 24 in order for us to maintain our state aid. So again, we've done a great job, a testament to all the staff here, our finance office, as well as all the departments, because just about every department is touched on in their questions. So, as well as you guys in the policies that you've enacted and approved.
Okay, it's great news. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul.
So, next is comments from the public on anything that's on tonight's agenda, only on tonight's agenda. You'll have, is it about something on the agenda, Mr. Diggs? No. Okay, so a little later, you'll be able to... Well, you can talk about anything you want in the next public comment, okay? Anybody? Anybody online?
There's no one online, but Ken is trying to
Okay.
log on.
So we'll all have a chance to speak towards the end of the meeting. We have one ordinance tonight. It's ordinance 2022-8, which amends section 104-34 of the Code of the Township of Hainsport, entitled Schedule of Fees and Escrow Sums. And Paula, can you help us out with that one?
Sure.
Explain to the audience.
Trying to help Ken here get on the meeting.
Okay, take your time. There's no game on tonight, right?
He says he's
So we got time,
waiting.
I agree.
To get on, but I don't see him.
all the time we want.
You actually don't know how much time you have.
Nobody knows.
That's right. You know how much money you have, but you don't know how much time you have.
For sure.
That's right.
Okay,
And that is
sorry. Okay, so we're on the ordinance. Yes, so we've had a request from a resident to encumber a paper street next to his property. And the land use law requires that a certain process be done for that. Generally, it's you all approve the street vacation. We have to ensure through the tax assessor that it's not going to landlock any other lots. But in going through this process, we realize that there are no fees. There's nothing in our existing code that allows us to charge fees towards this process. There are a lot of fees related to this, including the public advertising of the ordinance, as well as the tax map revisions. If there's no survey, we might have to hire somebody to survey the property. But if it's in the best interest, if the resident requests it or the business or the entity requests it, those costs should be passed on to them. It should not be incurred, in my opinion, by the public, by the taxpayer. If it's something if it's our property and we want to vacate it, obviously that's a different story. So really what this ordinance does is it attaches an actual fee schedule for various components of that street vacation process. So it includes an application fee, it includes the professional review fee, with meets and bounds description, there's a certain amount, and then without, and then the tax map update fee, and then there's also a zoning change request fee added to this, and that's for any type of administrative change in the zoning. And that's something that obviously Kathy will be a part of. But that's what this is. It's very cut and dry, basically to establish fees associated with street vacations.
Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay, we're looking for a motion.
Motion?
Second?
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. So, in the resolution section, the first item is Resolution 2022-140-11, and we're going to appoint a chief finance officer if the committee is in agreement tonight. So, would you like to say anything about that appointment?
Well, I can say that she has actually already started because she's so excited to jump in and see where she's actually here this evening. But this will be a part-time position, up to 10 hours a week. Most likely she will be coming in after 4 p.m. when she's done her full-time job, which is Monday through Friday from 7 to 4. So she'll be working nights and weekends. Other staff members are willing to come in if necessary. to accommodate that schedule, but we're really excited. She actually holds 4 certifications. She's certified tax collector, tax assessor, finance officer, and clerk. And she also has experience as an administrator. So we're very fortunate to have her. I think the 2 liaisons to the finance department who are part of the interview process, we're all on board
Yeah,
with her.
absolutely.
So, and her
Okay.
name's Dawn Gorman.
It's up for a motion?
I'll gladly make that motion to approve.
I'll second.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. And Resolution 2022-141-11 is to approve a firefighter into the New Jersey State Firemen's Association.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
So I always like, I know there's very rarely anybody here, but it's Mr. DeHoff. Oh, no. Tell us about this. I haven't had a chance to look at the agenda other than what I saw at the meeting. What, can we do a little explaining here, who's going into this?
Are we talking about the finance officer?
No, firefighter into the New Jersey, yeah, here it is, here.
Oh, it's John Mazur.
Right. So he is
This-
joining our fire, again, I didn't get a chance to see the final draft of tonight's meeting.
Sure. He is a volunteer firefighter with the Hainesport Fire Company, and they have the opportunity to join the New Jersey State Firemen's Association, and they have to complete this application, and it has to
Okay.
be vetted by the governing body.
Okay,
So,
all right, great. So we'll open the floor for a motion on that.
So moved.
Mr.
Second.
Klaus?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. Okay, the next resolution, 2022-142-11, memorializes the submission of an NJDEP HDSRF grant application for the Kleiner Creek Turn Park site on Route 38. What are we getting there?
So this is actually memorializing a resolution that you all already approved in 2021. We made an application to the New Jersey DEP HDSRF fund for grants for remediation. There is specific language that has to be in the resolution in order for them to authorize the funds. So this is really memorializing what was already done. We had to add the final whereas clause, just affirming that the governing body is fully committed to the redevelopment and improvement of the site, and these final steps are necessary for remediation needed to achieve this goal. And again, that's for the preliminary assessment, the front part of doing any kind of remediation, physical remediation, if it's actually even necessary. And that's for the open space recreation side of the Kleiner property, as well as the front Route 38 part that we're bifurcating for commercial.
Okay, who wants to
So
make?
I'd like to make that motion.
I'd like to second that.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes, we have some business licenses to approve.
Am I on the right meeting?
Have a motion on that.
I'm on the wrong meeting.
Motion to approve business licenses?
Really just one.
Second. the
Business
hairdresser.
license?
Mr.
Okay.
Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes. Okay, so now we're open to comments from the public. Would anybody like to come up? Okay. I guess he do.
I'm going to be limited to 5 minutes, right?
Name and address for the record.
Okay. Marco Agostini,
Okay,
one of the top 10 lawyers in the state of New Jersey. I was, not now.
okay, all right.
All right. 112 Spruce Lane, Hainesport. You got it.
Okay,
You got it. You know, I have voted, the last time that I voted for a Democrat was when John F. Kennedy ran.
Right.
you know, a long time. But yesterday, for the first time, I was a Democrat again for that lady there.
She, oh, no, that's not her, that's not
Because
her.
she's a friend of my wife, you know, and sometimes you gotta go along with the boss, okay? But what I'm here for is your code, which says that, carports and sheds, they require a license from here, not a license, permit from here. Is that correct?
Well, I think there's a certain size restriction,
Sheds under 10 by 10, I don't believe do, but they all require some form of inspection for safety. Like carports do, because they gotta be held down, so they
So
don't
for
blow
my
away.
carport, I would have required a permit, right?
You'd have to check with Kathy
Well,
in the office. She
well,
would be the most
well,
accurate.
Kathy, you know, she's not a lawyer. I'm a lawyer. And so I know a little bit more than Kathy, okay?
Well, we are regulated by the state on a lot of those
I know,
codes and
I know.
requirements.
But who made, by the way, I want to congratulate first, when I came here from Voorhees, okay, the taxes here were almost half the as amount. So I give you credit of everything for what you're doing here, but I don't like this Mickey Mouse senseless ordinance. I'll tell you why it's senseless. Because you can put, number one, there is no permanency insofar the structure is concerned. You put it in, it took 2 hours to put it in, take this thing down, it will take half hour, maybe even less. Okay, so does that make, you follow me so far?
You're saying there's no foundation.
Right.
All right.
Sorry, so I had no foundation. Okay. I never paid for the thing because I knew there was a bad bomb here on the part of the township. And also, now I found out that your lawyer is Gillespie, right?
Yeah, he is.
Mr. Gillespie. Well, he's the worst lawyer in the state of New Jersey.
Oh, my.
Okay, you know, it's so bad I made the people laugh. Yeah, including,
Well, you know-
including Alexis. here.
Listen,
But, you know,
give me 1 second here.
yeah,
We're not roasting anybody here tonight. What's your issue? Tell us what.
my
what's
issue
your-
is that you should stop using that, turn it off, and take it off the books,
Okay.
okay?
Well, I don't
That
know
is
if
the
that's
thing.
possible, but I
Huh?
guess the committee and Paula can take a look at the viability of doing that.
Oh, I don't care the liability.
No,
I'd be glad to pay anybody that comes here.
Fi-
If does the same thing, I'd be glad to be the lawyer pro bono.
Can you, let me ask you a question, and you are a lawyer. What if it's on your property?
And you're my friend.
I am your friend, and I'm everybody's friend.
Yeah, I voted for all of
Let
you.
me ask you, I wanna-
Before, but now I just.
I want to ask you a question. Most of our building codes are basically supported by the state of New Jersey, and they're done for safety. So what if your carport gets lifted up by the wind and crashes through a house and kills a baby? Well, wouldn't you think that it should be fastened
Yeah,
down?
but why you get, what the permit's gonna do?
The permit would have fastening requirements because you have uplift. It's like any eave, and I'm in construction, so I know that eaves have to have uplift
I
restriction.
like you much, but I've never seen you saying you're right. In all the time that I've known you. You have never said, I am right, I'm sorry.
Well, and that's fine.
And you've never done that.
But I don't think you're right on this one. I really don't.
Well, I
That's
never
fine.
heard of maybe somebody else.
But you have your say, and I think you should have your say.
Or you want to bet on this? You want to bet?
I can't bet from
I
this
don't bet.
forum right now.
I don't bet. And you're the ones about with the solar panels. And with the solar panels now, I end up getting $30,000. They were trying to get money from me. I'm going after the other company, the installer, for $200,000.
I'll tell you what,
You
we'll
wanna
talk,
bet?
we can talk about this after I think your time's about up.
So,
But,
All right.
yeah,
let-
Jerry,
let her
excuse
finish.
me.
What time?
So,
What time is
how
up?
do you say your last name?
Agostini. Hey, I voted
Agostini.
for you. Jesus, you better know my name.
I just want to pronounce it correct.
Huh?
I sat with you at the...
I mean, I vote for you the next time. I might run for you.
Thank you. Thank
In
you.
your place.
I sat next to you at the Veterans Lunch.
It's
You know-
too
you know-
late
you know
now.
that. We had a nice conversation.
Yeah.
But as
and
far-
you were a little bit, you were kind of absorbing what I was saying.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm not, frankly, I am not a expert on the building codes.
Right.
We do have them in the building. We have
Neither am I.
experts here that can interpret what the building codes are. I'm going to ask Paula to take a look at
Yeah,
the
but please
situation and see what
don't
we
ask
can...
Mr. Gillespie for advice.
Well, you know, I hear you. Everybody, listen,
That's pretty bad.
everybody
All right.
doesn't like...
My time
somebody.
is up.
Don't worry
Thank
about
you.
it. No, you're good, but what I want to try to do is let you know that we'll look into it. We just can't, nobody can give you an answer tonight.
Okay, well, that's good. Hey.
But I understand.
I'm not in a
You know-
rush because I haven't got the permit for 7 years. In fact, the building inspector said
Yeah.
my house was the best built house in town. Built,
Yeah.
okay? All
So,
right.
you know, I always tell people, my sister lived in Florida and her streets were horrible. They were full of potholes and she'd always complain. And I kept telling her, why don't you go to a township meeting? And you'll be right in front of all the town, you know, fathers and mothers, and you'll get your situation heard.
Yeah.
Nobody can run from you when you're at the podium, so I'm glad you came in.
Yeah,
and
but make
we'll
sure,
take a look at
make
it,
sure
but I don't
you
know what...
vote for DeSantis, because I just sent them
Yeah.
money.
Okay, well,
You know,
all right, well,
he's Italian too, you know, and I think he's gonna be the
So-
next president.
Yeah, they're gonna look into it, and I don't have an answer for you, neither does the committee.
Mr. Mayor,
But I appreciate you coming in, and now your issue's gonna get some attention, okay?
thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thanks for coming in.
And thank you very much.
Anybody else have a public comment? Who did he vote for? Did he vote for me, or who he thinks is Ann? That's my one vote I'm missing. That's one of the votes I'm missing.
Better watch.
You know what I mean? Now I just found out. Jamie, would you like to make a comment? Come on up. Come on.
We're gonna ask you, come on.
Why did you come? You're the only, why'd you come tonight? There's nobody else here. You gotta say something.
Hey, listen, I'm not running for anything, so.
Oh, that's all right. No, you good? All right, thank you.
If he gives him money back for a permit, I want mine back.
Yeah, good point.
And I want mine back for all my, they actually came to my
Okay,
house.
For Jamie.
They actually came to my house and arrested my wife. She owns our house, and, for permits, about 20, 30 years ago. We're like, lucky I like her, I didn't let them take her.
I don't think the first state tapping from established. You may not think so, you may think she's not worth a grain of salt, she is fabulous.
Yes, she is.
And she
Well, she knows the law,
Yeah.
Well, she knows our code too, better
the
than
code,
anybody.
correct. All right, that was interesting. But we'll look into it, I'm sure.
If I may interject that Committeeman Montgomery is on and there were technical difficulties, so he is on. He's here.
Okay, so he'll get his chance at a comment. Now it's your turn. Would you like to make a comment?
Are you sure it's my turn
Yeah,
already?
already.
I don't think I have my thoughts in one place.
You want
right
to
now.
come back? Well,
I would love that.
let's do comments from the solicitor.
really
She's
am
been talking all
Yes.
night.
I do not have anything.
Well, nice to have you, nice to see you.
Go back to Paula.
I don't want it.
So we'll give Paul the last word.
No.
Maybe Jamie will think of something she wants to say.
Oh,
But anyway, comments from the committee. We'll start with Bruce over here on our right.
I have no comment.
this
Leela?
is what we deal with every day.
Well, I have a couple.
All right.
That the exercise area at the municipal park has been resurfaced, and it looks and it feels great to walk on.
Awesome.
Looks awesome. And I noticed that we have signed off on the Jaws of Life for the fire department. Helped them obtain that piece of equipment for $10,000. I wanted to remind everybody about the tree lighting and Mr. and Mrs. Claus coming to town on December the 2nd, and to wish everybody a happy and healthy Thanksgiving. That's it.
Jerry?
I really did enjoy the Veterans Luncheon. I thought it was fabulous. We had a great turnout. I thought everybody did a great job. The election, we still have no results in the election, no positive results. One of the things I've started doing, I started walking in the morning with my wife, and I find myself walking at 5 o'clock in the morning through the park. And it's quite a place. I mean, my wife's been walking here for years, and but it's nice. I think we have great facilities, and it's a nice place to be. I find it a good adventure when I'm walking through there. Except she walks too fast, and I can't keep up with her. That's all. Other than that, everybody have a great Thanksgiving, and thank you for coming.
Ken?
Hello, everyone. Sorry for my technical difficulties here. Sorry for all that. I certainly want
We
to
didn't
start
even
out
know.
wishing everyone a happy Thanksgiving, and anxious to hear all the final, when we get all the mail-in ballots and have everything finalized. And the update that I wanted to give is that I participated in a statewide cannabis call, and wanted to just give an update that, as you all know, we had passed to make it legal in Hainsport for distribution. The state
I would've done that.
will not
It doesn't
come up
work.
with regulations for the warehousing and the distribution. So at this point right now, we can't do anything. We can't get applicants. We can't approve applications. We can't really do anything because the state is still working on that. As far as the time frame is concerned, I'm going to have to get back to you on that because we're still not certain of all that. So unfortunately, the update is there is no update. Paul, I know you were on that meeting as well. Was there anything that I missed or that you wanted to bring up about that?
No, I mean, I guess for us, the biggest takeaway was that the state hasn't issued the permitting yet for the 2 licensures that you guys authorized, which is what, the distribution and the warehousing and distribution. That was the biggest takeaway for me as well. That's it.
You done, Ken?
That's it for me. Yes, thank you, Mayor.
Yeah. Okay. So, I had to make a comment about the Veterans Luncheon. I think that's something I'll take with me, for the rest of my life. You could see those people coming up for their medals, and you could almost see in their eyes what they had gone through in their, I'm not going to say what they went through, but you can just imagine what they may have went through in their military career. I know some had seen battle, they were, and it was just a very, very eloquent and just well put together affair, and I'll always remember it. I was in the reserves. I saw no duty whatsoever. I actually was not a good soldier because I didn't really like being told what to do every day. But and I finally got out and went in my own business where I have hundreds and thousands of customers telling me what to do anyway. But anyhow, so I didn't apply for any kind of medal or anything. So, but and my service would dishonor, their service, because I just was in school the whole time. But I would have went wherever I was told. My brother was a veteran. He actually passed away from Agent Orange, and he saw battle in Vietnam. All my uncles, going way back, my nephews, my son, military. So I just will never forget that day. It was really well put together, and I hope Hainsport and Donna just really outdid herself, and Leela, I know you had a lot to do with that, and it was just a great day, and I'll never forget that I had the opportunity to be the MC, if you will, for something like that, and I never expected that. I just never expected it. So. And that's my comment for tonight. So, all's good. Happy Thanksgiving, and we'll see you next month.
No.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
No,
No.
we're gonna pay some bills first.
Yeah, okay.
Except,
I'd like to make the motion that we pay some bills.
Yeah.
no, I need to correct one of the bills.
Okay, you go ahead.
You got it?
So if that's been corrected or will be corrected?
It has been, but we should enter it into the meeting minutes that Middlesex Welding Supply.
Right.
MID 02. I
Take off the
believe
$20 and.
the actual amount of the payment is $48.70. Thanks to Leela Catching that they invoiced us for another entity by like $20. So,
Uh-oh.
thank you, Leela.
Thank you,
You
Leela.
think I don't look at things?
I know you do. You're in business, and you're a very astute lady.
So that one's
Believe me.
$48.70, so it's less. Other
All
than that,
right, so
everything
with
else.
that, then I'll second it.
All right, we need to vote on that?
So I think we should make a motion to vote
Amend
on
the bill list?
amending the bill list.
Okay, let's
First.
make a motion to amend the bill list.
Second that.
Okay, vote on that. All in favor, I guess?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, now would you like to amend the bill list?
We just did amend it, now
Well-
we're gonna pay.
Pay the bills.
Now we're gonna pay the bills, so I make a
We're
motion.
not gonna amend the bill, no, we're not gonna amend the bill first and then
We
pay
did.
it?
We
Okay.
Just did.
No, we didn't amend it by name
Oh.
formally, we did that before, but it's okay. We're not that formal right here anyway, I guess. So
Okay.
now we can pay the bill.
Okay. Mr. Montgomery?
No, I'd like to make the motion that we pay the bill.
Okay, good for you.
I'll second it.
Mr. Montgomery?
Mr. Montgomery, you're,
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
all right.
Thank you. Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
And Mayor McLaughlin?
Yes.
Jerry, I realize it's.
And we don't have an executive session tonight,
No.
Did you want to mention something about
So-
the drive?
Ken, would you make a motion to adjourn?
Did you want to make
I'd like
that?
to make a motion that we adjourn.
All right,
I'll second that.
that's like a,
Mr. Montgomery?
Yes.
Mr. Klaus?
Yes.
Mr. Levinson?
Yes.
Mrs. Gilmore?
Nah.
you want more?
Mayor McLaughlin? Fine, that is a yes.
I'm sorry I can't be there to see all your pretty faces and
Yeah, all
your
right.
smiles, and from what I gathered, it wasn't a big crowd, so it's a quick meeting.
Yes, it's quick, 7:45.